When you play the Game of Thrones, you
Subscribe and like.
or you die. There is no middle ground.
Alright, hello YouTube, welcome back to the Grease Goblin YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Bloodraven and why he was sent to the wall, and if Bloodraven's actions actually made sense, and should Aegon V actually have sent him to the wall. So again, let me know what you guys think on this idea, if Bloodraven should have been sent to the wall or not, and what you would have done if you were Aegon V. But before we get into the video, if you guys like to like, subscribe, and comment, please do. It helps the channel grow, reach other people that might like this content as well. And let's get into the video. So, for you guys that don't know, Bloodraven is someone that had been in power for quite a while at this point. He had a lot of influence at this point. And let's kind of set the scene. So, Maekar is the king at this point of history where we're going to be focusing on with Bloodraven. Now, Maekar had a couple sons. Now, unfortunately, a lot of them die very young, or they leave people that are not great heirs. So, long story short, the best options that it came down to when Maekar ends up dying in the Peak Rebellion, which I think is a little suspicious in the way he died. Maybe we'll cover that in another video. But one way or another, Maekar ends up dying. So now, okay, well, we have this issue. Who is going to become king? Because there's a lot of claimants to the throne, but who is going to be it? And there was a couple claimants here for, I think, Vayella, I believe was her name, who was Daron, the Drunken's daughter. You had Aryan Brightflame's son, Maegor, who was also posed as a claimant. And none of these really made sense. The logical choice here was Aegon V. Now, again, some people didn't like this because, again, Aegon V was someone that was very odd when it came to princes. He was not someone that, as flaunting his wealth, he was more of a person of the people than he was like an actual noble, and that's something we're going to see throughout all of his reign. So some people were like, okay, well, let's make Aemon Targaryen. This is the Maester Aemon that we see in the normal story, and maybe they could release his vows because he was a maester, so they'd have to do a workaround there, and maybe he should be king. And I actually think Aemon would have been a good king, but no, that didn't end up happening. So the last option that creeps up, and why this is important to the Bloodraven stuff, is that we see another claimant puts their claim forward. Aenys Blackfyre, being the fifth son of Daemon Blackfyre, he puts his claim forth. Now, Bloodraven, again, being someone that has lived through all of the Blackfyre rebellions, he's been a staunch defender of the Reds and the Targaryen loyalists, and has taken down many of the Blackfyre pretenders at this point, says, okay, Aenys, you can come bring your claim, and you will have safe conduct. That does not end up happening. As soon as he enters the city, he is clamped and put in irons, and his head is lopped off. Now, why would Bloodraven do this? Well, one, Bloodraven is someone that's been fighting against the Blackfyres for generations. At this point, he has fought against Blackfyre after Blackfyre after Blackfyre. Thousands of people have died in these fights. And also, Bloodraven has a personal vendetta against Bittersteel, who at this point has kind of been like the figurehead of the Blackfyre rebellions, of the Golden Company, and all of that. And so, when you think about this threat to the Targaryen reign, because this is definitely a threat, if a Blackfyre comes in, and Aenys Blackfyre, let's say he just looks the part more, and maybe, because here's the thing, right? We have already this divide between the nobles wanting Aegon or Aemon to be king. What says they wouldn't go for the Blackfyre? Maybe the Blackfyre would give them more than Aegon would, which is highly likely. So Bloodraven, in a lot of ways, could have just been trying to get rid of a problem, right? You have all of this built-up emotion towards the Blackfyres, and also this is a threat to House Targaryen as well. And if you're the Targaryens, you would want the Blackfyres out of the picture. Now, you could say, well, maybe then Bloodraven shouldn't have given him conduct to come over at all and put forth his claim, which is fair enough. But at the same time, it's an easy way of getting rid of another Blackfyre. Now, it's not honorable. It's morally / ethically not great. But for the Targaryen dynasty, it does make a lot of sense. when you look at something like Maegor the Cruel, and I talk about him a lot, that he did a lot of things that were good for the Targaryen dynasty, but were not inherently good for normal people or Westeros as a whole. And that's kind of the way I look at this action of Bloodravens. It's one of those extremist type things of getting rid of the Blackfires. So when we come to Aegon V now becoming king, his first thing is basically putting Bloodraven in chains, sending him to the wall. Some of the Raven's Teeth, they go with him. Aemon, we know, goes with him. But was that the right move for Aegon? And I think that's an interesting point. Whereas, could Bloodraven have been pardoned for this crime of murder? Based upon what was the context? Could that have been an argument that maybe Aegon V should have done? We know Bloodraven is staunchly loyal to the Targaryen cause. He would have been a valuable asset to have with him. But at the same time, Bloodraven was someone that did not have a good reputation. People did not like Bloodraven. Maybe this could have been seen as Aegon kind of going away from Bloodraven, not tying his name to him, and starting this new generation of Targaryens. That is also possible. There's so many question marks I have with if Bloodraven had been allowed to stay. Maybe he had just lost his position, but Bloodraven was still somebody maybe at court that was a staunch Targaryen supporter. Who knows? So I want you guys to respond to me in the comments. What do you guys think about this? If you were in Aegon V's position, would you have let Bloodraven continue on, or would you have done what Aegon did and sent him to the wall? I don't know. I really don't know in my position what I would have done. I think it was the right thing to do was to send him to the wall ethically. But the other side of that is that Bloodraven could have been extremely helpful. We know he had probably some sort of magic powers going on at this time. It would have been kind of interesting to see how that would have played out with Aegon, where Aegon was someone that did struggle with these events. Would Summerhall have been prevented if Bloodraven had been helping Aegon? I mean, Bloodraven is someone that has so much experience of controlling the realm. And that's something that we know Aegon struggled with. Aegon struggled with balancing out the nobles, the common person, and keeping order in Westeros. One of the things he wanted with Summerhall was bringing the dragons back. Could the tragedy of Summerhall have been prevented? Could the whole Targaryen dynasty have taken a completely different direction if Bloodraven was still with them? I think that's a possibility. So let me know what you guys think about this. Just a kind of a short video today. I just thought it was an interesting topic to kind of talk with you guys about. And I hope you guys all enjoyed. I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye, guys.